high school graduation rate in America has reached an all-time high of 82.3%, but that still means nearly 1 in 5 don't graduate. Research has shown that one of the most important factors contributing to a young person's success in life is the presence of mentors. And that's why mentorship is the overall theme of today's 4-hour live broadcast. So joining us from Washington, D.C., two people who are at the forefront of this battle. Patricia Harrison is the president and CEO of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Pam Iorio is the president and CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters. Welcome to both of you. Pat, let's start with you. The theme, as I mentioned, is all about the importance of mentoring. And I have to say, I've never really met a successful person who didn't have a mentor in their life. Why do you think it's so critical in the development of someone young, Pat?
Well, you know, if you're a parent, just think of all the steps it takes to get that young child to a successful path in life. And these kids don't even have that one caring adult. And what America's public media stations have done is tell their story so that you move beyond thinking of this as a hopeless situation. And you see that these kids are facing such daunting challenges that they can be helped by mentors or American graduate champions. And because of America's public media stations, we have now over 9,000 American graduate champions helping these kids not only graduate from high school, but go on to a career and a job. And that is really the long path we want, because we can't have a strong civil society if our successor generation has no opportunity to succeed.
It's a really, really important mission. Now, Pam, Big Brothers Big Sisters has been in the mentoring gig for about 110 years, which probably makes you one of the very first mentoring organizations in the entire country. What do you think is the biggest misconception that people have about mentoring?
Well, many people think that they can't be a mentor, that they have to somehow be trained in a certain way or have a certain profession to be a mentor. But mentors are, anyone can be a mentor. What it really means is that you're a caring adult and that you want to take an interest in a young person's life. And so people from all walks of life, regardless of whether you're in the workforce or not, or what your job is, or what your level of education is, if you're a caring person and you want to reach out to a young person and say, I care about you and your future, I have an interest in how you're going to grow up, and I want you to become a productive member of society, and I'm going to spend time with you. And that's really all it takes. And so people need to see themselves, look in the mirror and see themselves as a mentor and feel good about that, and then volunteer to become a mentor.
Pat, often people will talk about and even write about the positive impact of mentoring on students. I think less often we talk about the positive impact of mentoring on the mentors.
Yes, this is Pam. I don't know if you want to answer this, but she was just saying earlier how much it changes the mentor.
Absolutely, Pat and I were just talking about that. In our world with bigs and littles, yes, the littles are very much impacted. But from what I hear and what I see every single day is that the bigs are equally impacted. Their lives are changed forever for the better too, because when you give of yourself to another person and you become invested in another person, you grow and change too. And the wonderful thing about Big Brothers Big Sisters is that we're bringing together people from very different walks of life, people that otherwise may never have met each other, and they become entwined in each other's life. They really care about one another, watch each other as they grow and change through the different phases of their life. It's a very gratifying thing to see.
Yeah, I think that's really too. So Pat, let me ask you this. The high school class of 2020, they're now freshmen in high school, right? So what do you think, Pat, that they need to do and that mentors need to do for them to get that number of people who graduate up to, say, 90%?
I think it takes a lot of people to do this. It takes teachers, it takes parents, but also it takes listening to the kids themselves. And for example, If you look at Idea Stream in Cleveland, where they have young people who are up there on a stage at a town hall meeting talking about what it means to succeed, and the kids who are in the audience are identifying with them. We need people who are succeeding, who look like the people who want to succeed. And general managers running public media stations throughout the country who are so connected to community really care about these young people. So whether it's the class of 2020 or kids who are in school right now, we need to listen to them, we need to work with them, and we need to make sure they see that they have a place in our society down the road, that it's not hopeless.
So, Pam, let me ask you a question, because I was sort of shocked and sad to read that you need 30,000 mentors. You're short. 30,000 kids don't have, that's a shocking number. Just tell me what kind of mentors you need. Well, tick off for me what you're looking for right now.
We have 305 affiliates across the country, and they all have a waiting list, every one of them, as you said, at least 30,000 children. We're looking for caring adults who are willing to spend an hour or two every week with a young person. An individual who is willing to become invested in that young person, help them with schoolwork, help build their expectations about themselves in life, and to be a positive role model. They don't have to do anything fancy with the young person when they pick them up, and you don't have to take them to an NFL game. You can just go out and take a walk.
You said it.
You can just throw the ball. You can just go out for ice cream. You can just sit and talk. And so, this is something that we all can do.
Yep. All right, Pat, final question to you before I continue on with our program. Give a word of encouragement. I think, honestly, mentors often, they kind of go unsung a lot of the time. What would you say to make people realize the work they're doing is so important, so critical?
Well, I think one of the things that people realize today in our society, in our very disruptive social environment, that it's truly up to us to make changes. It's not external to us. And the reward you get has to be really internal rather than any kind of publicity. They are not unsung heroes, because what counts in life is what you do that lasts. This lasts. My grandfather was an immigrant from Italy who came to this country, and the one thing he said to me was, stay in school. Don't be stupid. And he told everyone in his barbershop. He was a mentor to so many of those young boys and girls who had really little hope of having any kind of academic future because they had to go to work. We have to pass it on, because basically that's our American DNA, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. Pam and Pat, thank you both for being with me today, and also, of course, for the great work you're both doing. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Soledad.
You bet. My pleasure.